What's up, fellas? Fight Talk MMA here, back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how UFC 330's main event, Makhachev versus Garry, is very close and a lot closer than what the odds makers are making it. Right now, they have Garry at the plus 275 underdog. So yeah, let's get into it. First of all, card as a whole, um, terrible. I made a YouTube video on how I would switch some things to this card, and none of those ended up happening. So yeah, we're not going to be talking about this too much. At the end of the video, I will be giving you a 3-leg parlay that you can follow, and those are mostly prelim fights, so we can cash out together. But yeah, rest are nobody, so we're going to go straight to Makhachev and Ian Garry. Ian Garry, long, long fighter. We obviously know this. The length of Ian Garry is going to be a problem for Islam Makhachev. They just faced off today. Garry was wearing some soleless shoes to try to fool us a little bit, but he's going to come in here. He's going to look way bigger. 6'3" versus 5'10". The kicks and the jabs of Ian Garry is going to give Makhachev some problems, and it's not going to be anything he's ever faced before. He's never fought a guy this long, and he's never fought a guy this well-rounded either. I think the high kick is going to be there for Ian Garry. If you watch the way Islam fights, that head kick is there. And we know Islam has been starched before by Timu Pantoja back in the day. He got slimed, and if you want to count the Moicano knockdown, we'll count that as well. But he can be chinny at times, but he's got a pretty good chin for the most part. If you look at that Bilal fight for Ian Garry, he looked great. A lot of people love to talk about that Bilal fight for Ian Garry and compare it to this fight with Islam Makhachev. But we've seen, we've played these games before. JDM, same thing, looked great against Bilal, and just got destroyed by Islam Makhachev. So Ian Garry is going to have to do something different, obviously, than what JDM did. I think the thing that he has that JDM doesn't, JDM fights with that high guard, that huge boxing stance, and Gary's going to be a little bit more on the outside. So let's talk about that Bilal fight. Ian Garry wins with ease. He was peppering him with that jab, and yeah, the problem is he was getting pushed to the fence basically the whole fight. I mean, he's running away for the most part. He landed a couple good shots, but he just doesn't have that power. Last finish was D-Rod by a head kick. That's how I could see him winning this fight is by a head kick. And I think there's a decent chance for that happening. If you go back to December, when I was predicting each pay-per-view, I predicted this pay-per-view, and I predicted Ian Garry would win. Obviously, very bold decision. But if I was betting on this, I'm hammering that Ian Garry money line. I mean, plus 275. That's great value. But let's go into just realistic predictions here. I just think Garry in that Bilal fight, getting pushed against the fence. This is not Bilal Muhammad that he's fighting. This is a guy who's going to engage in the clinch with Garry, a guy who's going to take him down. Obviously, Garry stuffed every single takedown in that Bilal fight. This is a different animal. Islam is arguably the GOAT, one of the best we've ever seen in this sport. One thing I want to highlight, that Shavkat Rakhmonov fight, go watch that. Shavkat versus Ian Garry. Shavkat showed the blueprint to beat Ian Garry. Just pressure him, take him down, but you can hang with him on the feet. I think Islam can hang with Ian Garry on the feet with the threat of the takedown. The problem is, if Islam tries to strike too much with Garry, that's where Garry lives. I think that's where we see a 48-47 decision from Ian Garry. By running around, leg kicking at range, jabbing at range. So yeah, I mean, if Islam can take down Garry a couple rounds, I think Islam will be able to stay on top of him, even with how versatile Garry is on the ground. Yeah, really. I mean, Islam said it himself. Islam's gonna have to chase Ian Garry. He's gonna have to engage in that clinch, and I think he will. I really do. I think a lot of people think that this huge height advantage is an issue. But yeah, I mean, I really don't think it's a huge deal, and Islam's going to be on top of him. So my final prediction in this one is going to be Islam Makhachev by 48-47 decision. But I will be betting on Ian Garry. I think the head kick is there. I think he could most definitely outpoint him. One thing you can't take away from Ian Garry is his fight IQ and how smart he fights. You can call him boring, but he gets his hand raised against guys like Carlos Prates, MVP. Tough puzzles to solve, and he could very well get it done here against Islam Makhachev. And yeah, I just think what we're going to be saying about Ian Garry is that he did really good against Islam Makhachev, but he just didn't quite do enough. And for Islam, this is a huge win. I mean, this is the first time he's truly faced a number one contender in his career that's not, injured, blopped up to fight him, things like that. This is probably the best win of Islam's career if he can get this done. So yeah, I'm taking Islam Makhachev by 48-47. I'm betting on Ian Garry with that plus 275 value. I think that's great. Just to end things off, I want to talk about my parlay that I'm riding, and it's mostly prelim fights. Just because that main event, if I were to just do a straight, I'm hammering Ian Garry plus 275. Here's the 3-leg parlay I came up with. It's going to be Jalen Turner money line against Fernandez. I do think if Fernandez can kick up Turner's legs, we might be screwed, but I think Turner's going to get him out of there early. People forget, man, like this guy was a top lightweight in the world. I believe in him to get this one done. So that's going to be our first leg. Second leg is going to be Dante Johnson, Moana right here. He's minus 240. I watched his last fight. He a little chinny, but if we can survive, once again, if he fights smart, I think we got it in the bag. And then Joel Alvarez himself is going to be our third leg. Fighting at welterweight now, obviously, so a little bit of a jump for him. He's not as long as what he was in lightweight, but coming off that Amzov loss, I think he's got it in the bag, boys. So we're going to cash that one out together. So that's going to be it for my Islam Makhachev, Ian Garry breakdown. Hope you enjoyed. If you like the video, like and subscribe, and follow the TikTok at FightTalk-MMA for more content. And we'll see y'all in the next one, man.